Let's go. What's up, everybody? All right. Welcome into a victorious post-game show. LSU advances. Tigers beat Oregon State 6-5. What a performance. What an outing by Thatcher Hurd. Absolute stones by Gavin Guidry, freshman, first postseason appearance, and what a spot to jump into. They're in the ninth, protecting a one-run lead. I love the gonads. I love the moxie. I love everything about it. Tigers blast 5 homers. Stick to what you are. You're not a small ball team. You're a team that blasts homers. And LSU did that today. Got down, slugged their way to a lead, saw Oregon State come back and tie it, but LSU did it again. Joe Bear with a big bomb to center. Man, Joe Bear with a big bomb to center to give LSU the lead back. My goodness, man. Gives LSU the lead back, and just to see it go the way it did, man. You know, to get that homer bottom 8, you're 3 outs away, and you give the ball to a freshman. I mean, honestly, I'm sitting there thinking you got to run Hurd back out there. I'm thinking, why wouldn't you run Hurd? He was at 99 pitches. He had gone 5 innings. We saw him go 100 pitches was his max for the season. He threw against Georgia. I'm sitting there thinking, man, run Hurd back out there. Have Guidry and Ackenhausen ready. If he gets in trouble, you got your 2 best guys ready to roll. But Jay made the call, went to Guidry, and nearly a flawless inning. He gave up the 1 single, and quite honestly, it was a ball that Napolt almost made a great play on. So, what a play! Let me like this thing. Hope y'all are having just an awesome Sunday. It was well worth the wait, and maybe the best part about that. Maybe the best part about LSU winning that game is we don't have to have the Paul Skeens conversation ever again. They threw him against Tulane. It don't matter. You won both of your first games, and now you're set up because Oregon State's got to come back now and play in about an hour against Sam Houston. And whoever wins that game has to turn around and play you tomorrow. Probably we don't know the start time yet. We'll keep an eye on it to see. And then if they win, they got to come back and beat you again. So. So what a day. This has been unconventional at best, man. I mean, unconventional at best when you look at LSU and the way this regional has gone. I mean, you play at 2 o'clock on Friday. You start Paul Skeens. You get a complete game win. You end up not playing the game on Saturday. You start the game on Sunday. It gets delayed for 3 hours. You have to come back. Thatcher Hurd shoves. Guidry closes it out. And now you wait till tomorrow for an opportunity to advance to supers and host the super regional round. So I'm fired up about it, man. We'll say some good evenings here, see what y'all got. I'll give you a couple other thoughts. Do me a favor as we just get started. We push off here from the dock. Smash the like button. I appreciate you for being there. If you are new, please subscribe up to the channel. Appreciate that greatly. And as always, I do have the HUDCO website pinned in the chat. Of course, I tell you all the time, I'll never put up a paywall. I'll never charge anybody for content, which we'll always do free content and whatever you do is if you need a roof repair replacement, give us a shout at HUDCO. HUDCO's pinned in the chat. Okay, Donovan Peterson, 44, the legendary Bayou Bengal, 84, Dustin Abear, Brennan Huff, Spurge, what's good, Cigar Lit, Brian Penton, Damon Gilmore, what's going on, Matt Plavidal, Sonny's wife, Lance Richard. Good to see all of y'all here. Bo, Michael Broussard, Portsmouth, Elijah Craig. I love to see it. Fletch, good to see y'all, man. Absolutely. And I'll tell you honestly, guys, and ladies, for me, of course, I'm fired up they won. I'm fired up that the Tigers won. Selfishly, from a radio standpoint, I always say if LSU baseball can get me to the end of June, awesome. Because you get me to the end of June, we got about 2 weeks of July before we hit SEC football media days and we're rolling. So I love, selfishly, from a professional standpoint, I love for LSU to win, advance, and play on. Personally, of course, as a lifelong LSU fan, someone who's gone to the box my whole life and loves LSU baseball, I'm pumped. The fan in me is pumped about this, to see it transpire. But there's a lot to unpack. But the other thing I was going to say, I am so glad, like legitimately, like relieved that we do not have to have the POSTGAME conversation. Because if LSU had lost this game, regardless of the weather and all the other shit that happened, if LSU had lost this game, forever, we would have had the conversation about throwing POSTGAME against Tulane. Y'all know my feeling. I think we talked about it yesterday. 90% of the people on Twitter that like disagreed with the decision, there was a very vocal 10%, but we never have to worry about it again, because whether you went Floyd, Skeens, or Skeens, Floyd, however you would have done it, your hope was to start 2-0, and you did that. You're at 2-0 now. Oregon State and Sam Houston have to come back and play tonight, and the winner of that game's got to beat you twice tomorrow. So all's well. We never have to worry about having that conversation ever. You win tomorrow. We'll talk about what they do. Let's talk about this game. We'll talk about probably what they do tomorrow. I got some ideas. I'm sure many of you do. I guess my thought for tomorrow, clearly, just to start, is you're going to throw Javen Coleman. You're going to start the game with Javen Coleman, but you've got think about what you got available tomorrow. Really, you have everyone available tomorrow except for Skeens, Floyd, Hurd. Floyd threw 71 pitches today. You're not bringing him back. So Skeens, Floyd, Hurd, you have everyone else. You have Javen Coleman, you have Riley Cooper, you have Nate Ackenhausen. You can absolutely bring Gavin Guidry back. He threw 12 pitches, so you could absolutely bring Guidry back tomorrow. They had Bryce Collins getting warm today, which I was a little surprised to see, but goes to show you Jay's going to lean on his veteran guys. So you really have to feel good about your opportunity tomorrow, because those teams have to come back and play again. And everyone, think about all the pitchers Oregon State just used, right? So Oregon State went by committee. Lattery started. He threw 57 pitches. I guess in theory, because you're trying to save your season, it could be, you could maybe get something out of him tomorrow, but you use Keljo. They used Keljo for 1 inning, 15 pitches. He could come back. Hutchinson threw 1 inning, 11 pitches. I'm sorry, Hutchinson only went a third of an inning. He's the one that started giving up the bombs. Farrer was really good for them, went 3 2/3, but he threw 38 pitches. He's probably shelved. And then Brown, who was the last pitcher out there, threw 23 pitches. So now you got to go throw another game tomorrow and then try to come back and beat LSU. So you got to love where LSU is. Someone asked what I'm smoking on. It's a Churchill by David Off. It's the late hour. Fantastic cigar if you've never had it. Shout out Don Juan Cigar Bar, by the way. All right, let's see. Okay, so a couple of thoughts. We did a halftime show, but I love this, man. We're almost 600 people watching live. Thank you so much. Please smash that like button. We did a halftime show, We did a rain delay show. So LSU, so through middle of the third, they go to the rain delay. So LSU, of course, had given up, Ty Floyd had given up the solo homer. Really, honestly, we can talk a lot about LSU stranding runners in the first 2 innings, which they did, and that sucked. But it was evidence of them getting to Lattery early. He walked 4. He gave up just the 1 hit to Tommy White, and he struck out 3. But LSU loaded the bases twice against him, and unfortunately, they just weren't able to push anything across. But the thing that we probably miss is in the third, when Oregon State got the leadoff homer. When they got the leadoff homer, they went homer, double, single, right? And so you had 1 in, first and third, nobody out. Travinsky with a massive strike him out, throw him out, right there. And we talked about it at the intermission there. major hat tip to Hayden Travinski, the way that he has sort of completely redefined himself, both offensively and defensively. A guy that was striking out roughly one every two at bats, to a guy, or just under one every two at bats, and a guy that was a defensive liability, to a guy that has dramatically improved defensively. Now he did let two pop off the glove in the ninth there from Guidry, but he has improved dramatically. That strike him out, throw him out was massive, and then Hurd gets the K, and you get out of that inning. That could have been a crooked number, and strike him out, throw him out was huge, and Hurd bared down and came back and got the out, and then of course the rains came. And it would have been great to see LSU come out of that rain delay and in the third and get something going, but it just didn't happen. Travinski flied out. Beloso got hit by a pitch. Then Dugas struck out. Joubert reached, well, Joubert grounded out. They got Beloso at second. So on the Joubert grounded to a fielder's choice, so they got Beloso at second. So you got nothing, and then right after that, they come back in the top of the fourth. Casper homers, and then you had the total mess where they ruled Bazana a single and then a throwing error where the run came home, which whatever, you remember the play where Thompson threw home and tried to avoid Hurd. But all of a sudden you look up and you're down 3-0. But this team, so many times this year, y'all, so many times this year, this team has responded. It's been one of the most incredible features of this baseball team this year is their ability, when something bad happens, to respond. When they give up a run, they come back and get it back. And in the bottom of the fourth, Pearson tripled. It was the ball that, I mean, quite honestly, the defender should have had. I mean, it was off his glove. I mean, I'm glad he didn't. And Pearson tripled, but defender had it in his glove. So Pearson triples, and then boom, Dylan Cruz homers, and all of a sudden it's a 3-2 ball game. And then, of course, in the following inning, we saw LSU go back-to-back with Travinski and Beloso, and Tigers got the lead, and y'all know what happened from there. But just awesome. I mean, just what a game. What a game for the Tigers. 5 homers. And I think, you know, as much as we talked about, and I promise I'm going to come to your comments. My apologies, y'all. I'm kind of just riffing a little bit here. As much as we talked about the Skeens decision, I think the decision after the rain delay to go to Thatcher Hurd was 100% right. I tweeted about it when it happened, and my tweet at the time was, and I'm not saying I'm the only one who thought this. I think most of us thought this. My tweet at the time was, I love going to Hurd here. You have to be all in to win this game. Either team coming out of the loser's bracket will have a Herculean task, so go take control with your best arm available. So that's what they did. Hurd, none of us would disagree at this point. After having burned Skeens and burned Floyd, your best available arm was Thatcher Hurd. And he was available, and they were down 1-0, and they went to Hurd, and it was 100% the right decision at the time. And if, you know, he gives up the homer, and then the run, and people are on Twitter going, spoke too soon. This isn't aging well. No. It's not about that in the moment. I say this all the time with baseball. It's about, you take the information you have available based on percentages and probabilities and all that stuff, and you make the best decision possible, and you live with the result. And, you know, had they gone to Hurd and Oregon State's hitters had just put good swings on him, and ultimately they had beaten him, you know, you tip your cap. But Thatcher Hurd ends up striking out 12. He recorded 15 outs, right? Thatcher Hurd gave you 5 innings, 15 outs. 12 of the 15 outs were strikeouts. Thatcher Hurd bared down and had just a big nuts performance, man. I mean, I would say especially in the top of the 6th, when you went and got the lead on the back-to-back homers to go up 4-3, you had to come back and throw up a 0, and Hurd threw up a 0 in that half inning. So just awesome, man. Look, LSU struck out 12 times tonight. Tommy White struck out twice in key spots at once with the bases loaded, a pitch at his eyes, and then there in the bottom of the eighth. Was it loaded or were there? Yeah, it was loaded again. He struck out twice with the bases loaded. I think I don't know this, but y'all, sometimes we know, we talk about a lot, but you got to remember, for Tommy White, that was his first big Alec Box postseason moment. I mean, I don't care. I mean, he's in the ACC, and that's fine and good, and NC State and all that stuff, but we all know it's just different. Like, it's different here. So Tommy White, I think, just saw his opportunity to blast one and really get some separation in the game, and he just swung at a couple of bad pitches because he was a little eager, man. So anyway, yeah, I see Cajunomics isn't here, and a lot of people are shouting him out. So hat tip to Cajunomics, which I did not know was a thing earlier this year. I didn't know Cajunomics was a thing. Your Call of Duty games that you stream, until we were in Napa when LSU was playing in Round Rock, and I'm on the plane flying home watching the game. Watching the Call of Duty stream. So hat tip to you, sir. Hat tip to you. All right. Let's see, a couple other things. I have one more thought, and we can talk about tomorrow, and I'll get to all of you. So shout out to everybody watching for real. 742 watching live. Scooter Rushing, Mike McNett. Shout out to everybody watching, man. Y'all are awesome. Brett DeGrow, what's up? Brooke Bordeaux, Gulf South, what's going on? Ronnie Dugard, Dave Endur, good to see y'all. Ross Meir, what's going on? The other thing I wanted to say was, I wanted to give a huge hat tip to Cade Beloso, to Braden Joubert, to Hayden Travinski. And here's why. I think you all know this. I just want to verbalize it. I'm sure I'm going to say this a lot tomorrow on AFR. When LSU went out this offseason, and Jay went and recruited all the talent he did, all of those guys that I just mentioned, Gavin Dugas, Cade Beloso, Hayden Travinski, Braden Joubert, those guys were not guaranteed playing time, let alone weren't guaranteed roster spots, let alone playing time. By the way, cheers, Bud Light. I saw someone just say they were complaining about that. I'll get to that in a second, because if you will be patient, I would love to talk about that in 1 second, if you would. And I'm the least political person alive, but I do have a thought that you might find interesting if you'll bear with me. Let me get to this baseball thought. And I don't mean to wax poetic, y'all. I don't mean to wax poetic. But this is an era of collegiate sports where guys don't stay. Guys don't stay. And by the way, I'm totally cool with that. I am totally perfectly cool with transfer portal, with NIL, with all that stuff. If you have an opportunity to go better yourself, cool. But there's also something to be said for saying, you know what? I'm going to bear down, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to get better, and when I get my opportunity, I'm going to make the most of it. Y'all, I mean, I think we all know, right? When you cover the program, you're privy to information, right? You're privy to information from players or families or coaches or scouts or whatever. And I'll tell you flatly, like, even though Braden Joubert hit 18 bombs a year ago, when they were going through fall, nobody knew where he was going to be able to play in the lineup. Even though Gavin Dugas had played such a vital role for this team, led the SEC in RBI a couple of seasons ago. The assumption was Gavin Guidry, Thompson was going to win the shortstop job, and that Gavin Guidry was ultimately going to be the second baseman. That Ben Napolt was going to end up being the right fielder. Brady Neal, you had Brady Neal and Bear Jones coming in behind the plate, and you still had Milazzo, who they were going to use as a late inning defensive replacement behind Neal and Jones, who ultimately moved to first. But my point is there wasn't going to be a spot for Travinski. So, like, those guys were legitimately, when we're looking at in the fall and all this sort of stuff, like, why are they staying? Like, they're not guaranteed a roster spot, let alone playing time. Like, go somewhere where you're going to be able to play. But all those guys said, I want to be here. And I respect it so much, man, because, you had an injury to Neal. Travinski started getting some opportunity, sort of platooning with Milazzo. And he's just bludgeoning the baseball. He's got 9 homers in his last 18 games. It's insane. You literally cannot justify taking him out of the lineup. Gavin Dugas he was your table setter, your leadoff hitter for much of the season. He started, until his injury at second base every game, basically. And even despite the shoulder injury, which is way worse than Jay or anybody's going to let on, I think we all understand that. The guy is every throw is a chicken wing throw, and it's all elbow because his shoulder's hurt. But the kid's still out there gutting because he knows the only thing he ever wanted in life was to play baseball at LSU, and he's out there rolling. And he's like, this was his last opportunity, so he's going to go. Braden Joubert got an opportunity to swing, and he remade his body to where he is a good outfielder. Now, I'm not telling you he's a plus defender in the big league level, but he's a good outfielder, and it justified having his bat in the lineup. And then Beloso, of course, we all know his story, man. Blew out his knee last year. Beloso's been around, golly, since 2018. I mean, it's stunning to think he was on that team that went up to Corvallis and played in the Corvallis Regional back in 2018. So for all those guys who could have left, who could have transferred, who stuck it out, and now are playing huge roles, just salute to those guys. Anyway, okay. Let me get to some of y'all. And then tomorrow. So tomorrow, we'll see what goes on tonight, because you got Sam Houston and Oregon State are going to come back and play. I mean, neither team has any pitching left. That game is going to be an offensive. I would imagine that's going to be an offensive beast. So let's see how that game goes with Sam and Oregon State. Whoever emerges has to come back and beat you twice. My assumption is, again, I don't know what they're going to do, but my assumption is they'll start Javen Coleman. And, I thought Leah Van had a good article a couple of weeks ago where she quoted some of Jay's former players at Arizona, where you kind of talked about viewing pitchers not in roles like starter, reliever, closer, whatever, and more as out-getters. So it's like, okay, I think, you give the ball to Javen Coleman tomorrow and you say, okay, how many outs can you give me? Riley Cooper, we know, has a rubber arm. He hasn't thrown yet. Nate Ackenhausen hasn't thrown yet. Sam Dutton, Blake Money haven't thrown for you yet. Bryce Collins was in the bullpen, hasn't thrown for you yet. I mean, that's a half dozen pitchers that I just named that can get you 27 outs tomorrow against a team, whichever one it is, that's going to be so depleted on the mound that offensively you should be able to get off against them. So, I would say you get a best case scenario tomorrow. Javen Coleman gets you 12 outs, gets you through 4. You got a lead. You can hand it over to Cooper, who maybe gets you through the middle. You can go some combination of Ackenhouse and Guidry, maybe Collins in the back end. But really, it's a day where your offense should pace you tomorrow and give you a relatively easy day for your pitchers, where you just have to say to them, hey, throw strikes. Throw strikes. So, okay, I'll do 60 seconds on the Bud thing, since a lot of y'all are bothered by this, which, by the way, now official beer of AFR. I'll tell you this. Number one, I don't give a shit about politics. I don't give a shit about yours. I'm not a political person. My deal is not with Anheuser-Busch. It's with Mockler Beverage, which is locally owned. All of our friends, neighbors, co-workers, people we praise and worship with the church who work at Mockler Beverage, a great company that's donated millions of dollars over 40 years to great charities everywhere. If you really want to know the actual ins and outs of what happened with Bud Light, I would strongly recommend you don't do the thing where you just watch Fox or CNN and you actually go look into it. An independent marketing firm sent that person, whatever, one can with a picture on it. It wasn't a rollout. It wasn't approved by Anheuser-Busch. It was nothing like that. It was one can. A person posted it, and everyone blew it up and blew it way out of proportion. I don't give a shit. Miller has done Pride Month promotions. Coors has done Pride Month promotions. Look it up. My point is, if you start bitching about everybody that does something you don't agree with, you're going to end up doing nothing in life. So live your life. Be happy. If you don't want to drink Bud Light, don't drink Bud Light. If you don't want to drink beer, don't. I really don't give a shit. What I'm going to say is, I love the people at Mockler Beverage. They are amazing, amazing community partners. The amount of money they've given to churches and schools and great organizations like Folds of Honor and been great community partners. I love the people at Mockler Beverage. Tim, Patrick, all the guys over at Mockler Beverage who've been awesome to working with me. Former LSU number 18, Christian Lockature. You think I'm gonna turn my back on those people because an independent third-party marketing thing somewhere sent one can to someone who posted on social media and the world went crazy? Hell with that, man. Live your life. If you're gonna choose not to watch my show because of a beer I choose to drink, that's on you. Live your life, be happy. Let's go Tigers. Okay. And Shane Michael said, drink something you aren't sponsored by. I did. Today I had a Juicy by Flying Tiger, which I think is awesome. I love craft beer, and honestly, my friends at Mockler distribute a ton of local craft beer, like Rally Cap, which is local, Tin Roof, which is local, Gnarly Barley, which of course is local. Again, Mockler Beverage is who I'm partnered with. Their flagship product is Bud Light, and I'm happy to stand with my friends at Mockler. So that's the last thing I'm saying about it. Let's talk baseball. Justin Marquez said, boo, drink local. I do. I drink a ton of craft beer. Like, I love craft beer. I was drinking Juice Port from 7th Tap in Shreveport yesterday. I love craft beer. So I also happen, when I want domestic, or I'm smoking a cigar, want something cold, I'll drink Bud. Okay, let's talk baseball, y'all. Like, seriously, fuck all that. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for all the bullshit. I'm not saying, this is it. Issues of race, religion, socioeconomic issues, sexuality, all that stuff, all are very valid conversations. Important conversations that can be had in other places, not here. I do sports. I'll never talk about any of that stuff ever. I don't care. I say I don't care about it. You can go have those conversations wherever you want. Right here, let's talk baseball. Okay. LSU just beat Oregon State, and I'm fired up for it. So, Jamie's leg said Scone is the GOAT. Thank you. Blondell's theorem, where are the haters now? I don't know. Let's see. Doug Ashton, Parrish has many great beers. I agree with you. I love Ghost in the Machine. I think Parrish does great stuff. They're Murphy's, the one with the dog on it, the double IPA, fantastic. I'm with you. I love craft beer. I drink tons of Louisiana craft beer. Just like whenever I endorsed, Sazerac Rye, I told them, look, y'all, I love your product, but this isn't the only thing I'm ever going to drink because people will know I'm a total fraud. I'm a whiskey guy. I got 300 bottles of whiskey in my office. You think this is the only thing I'm ever going to drink? And they got it. Blake Juno said, have you tried Gila? I have not. And I've heard lots of good things about Gila too. I know they're right down the street in Gonzales, but I have not tried it. Okay. I'm with you. Who was that? Brennan Huff said, no, it was Michael McNett said enough beer talk. I'm with you. Enough beer talk. Dave Vendur said we need to get Trey back going. So I think I saw some of y'all posting about this earlier, and I do agree with you. I think, excuse me, y'all were saying that you didn't like Trey Morgan in the 3-hole. So I agree. Here, I will tell you my stance on this. And again, when it comes to baseball opinions and all, I'll reiterate something I said earlier, and thanks to everyone who's watching. 796 watching live. I love it. Please smash the like button if you haven't done so yet. And if you're new, I'm sure there's a lot of new people. Please subscribe up to the channel. I appreciate that. And my one other ask is, HUDCO is pinned in the chat. Had a ton of hail, wind, all that stuff. We cover every part of the state of Louisiana. If you have or think you might have roof damage, just give us a shout at HUDCO. Click the link, which is pinned in the chat. The contact form's on the homepage. Take you 30 seconds to fill out. Someone will be in touch with you. Love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. All right, so my theory always on baseball is, or my point of view is, baseball is a game that we operate in the aggregate, right? There's such a large sample size, and failure is inevitable for everyone. The cliche is you fail 70% of the time, you're in the Hall of Fame. So you are going to fail more often than not. And this is sort of the genesis and the root of my feeling about bunting, which we can get into as well. But I feel like as long as if you make a decision rooted in sound logic, then I can live with the result, good or bad. So I say that to say, I have no doubt that Jay Johnson has a reason for why Trey Morgan is batting in the 3-hole. And my guess is it's more about Dylan Cruz leading off. Because when Dylan Cruz was slumping, they moved him up in the order. And not only, does that maybe let him be your table setter, get him locked in a little bit more, but it also guarantees that he comes up, an extra time, being that he bats first when the lineup turns over. You all understand that. And Trey Morgan, I think, is great in the 2-hole because the 2-hole is going to see more fastballs. And I think that's where Trey is going to thrive. Because teams are going to have to choose, if Dylan Cruz is in the 3-hole and Trey Morgan's in the 2-hole, who are you going to pitch to? We're going to pitch to Trey Morgan, not Dylan Cruz. But now that you have Tommy White behind Dylan Cruz, you have protection for Cruz in the lineup, and teams have to choose, okay, are we pitching to Dylan Cruz or are we pitching to Tommy White? Well, good luck either way. And now that Travinski is behind Tommy White, it's like, holy shit. I always view my leadoff hitter as someone who is someone that gets on base. Doesn't have to be your biggest power guy, your highest batting average. It's just got to be someone that gets on base for the run producers that are coming behind him. So Gavin Dugas, to me, is the perfect leadoff guy. He's only hitting .288, but Gavin Dugas has an on-base percentage of .454. Dylan Cruz leads the team in on-base percentage at .567. Beloso at .455, Dugas at .454, Tommy White at .450. Tommy White's pretty good, right? So the next highest on-base percentage after Cruz are Beloso and Dugas at .455 and .454. So my point is, I like Gavin Dugas leading off because he gets on base. He gets on base for the run producers behind him. And I like Trey Morgan in the 2-hole because he's going to see more fastballs in front of Dylan Cruz, who's the best player in college baseball, who then is protected by Tommy White, who is now protected by Hayden Travinski. Jay likes to alternate lefty-righty, and clearly he wants Dylan Cruz in the leadoff spot right now. If that's the case, and you're going to move Tommy White in the 2-hole to protect Dylan Cruz, which I totally agree with that, then it bumps Morgan down to the 3-hole, and he's just not going to see as many fastballs. So I think that's what you've seen with Trey Morgan is the net effect of moving Cruz up and bumping Trey Morgan down has meant teams are not in a position where they really have to challenge Trey Morgan. And I think it's been a challenge for him where he presses a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I think we agree on that. But all that to say, Jay's got his reason. Like, whatever Jay's reason is for, and like we just said, I'm sure he wants Cruz in the leadoff spot to get him going and then protected by Tommy White in the 2-hole, and he sees more value there. Cool. Like, I get it. So it's not necessarily what I think is the best lineup, but the next time I fill out a lineup in a collegiate baseball game will be my first time. So, I mean, I trust Jay to get out there and put the best starting 9 in there in the best order that he feels like will produce the most amount of runs. Randall Offrick said Jay Johnson is the best coach on campus. That is a absurd opinion, Randall. Considering arguably the greatest women's basketball coach ever is on campus, and you've got Brian Kelly on campus, which has been a winning head coach for 40 years. Let's see. Let's see. Daniel Hansen asked Ty Floyd tomorrow in short relief. No shot. No shot, Daniel. He threw 71 pitches today. There's just no way they're going to turn him around that quickly after throwing 71 pitches. So no. Wait, Randall, was your opinion about? Oh, you're saying your opinion is Jay's the best coach on campus, and I flatly disagree. He's a great recruiter, and in time, I think he'll keep getting better and better and better. But you've got who I think is the best women's basketball coach ever, and Kim Mulkey, who's won 4 national titles, and I think Brian Kelly is proven he's pretty incredible. Let's see. Cajunomics, I very much want Cruz, White, Travinsky in a row. I don't care about righty-lefty. I agree with you, Cajunomics, on the righty-lefty thing, and I agree on Cruz, White, Travinsky. If I were setting the lineup, which again, I'm not, I understand that, but if I were setting the lineup, I would go Dugas because of his on-base percentage like we talked about. I would go Dugas, Morgan, Cruz, White, Travinsky. That would be my top 5. I'd follow Travinsky with Jordan Thompson in the 6 hole, and then I'd have Joe Bear batting 7th because I want that power stroke in the bottom 3rd. And then I would follow up with who I would assume would be Pearson in right. And, well, I know they have Beloso in the 6. So that's probably what I would do then. I would go Travinsky 5, Beloso 6, Thompson 7, Joe Bear 8, Pearson 9. If I were writing out the card, that's how I would do it. Yeah, by the way, if you are a cigar smoker and you've never had a Churchill by Davidoff, this is the late hour. This was recommended to me, by the way, by my guy Tevin Moten, trainer extraordinaire over at Traction. Awesome dude. He got this recommended to him by someone who's like a super cigar aficionado. And I went and bought a 4-pack of them and absolutely love it. It's so bold and robust, and I typically don't like really dark tobacco, but this one doesn't make you green, even though it's really bold, robust, like I said, good mouthfeel. And boy, it is so, I mean, I don't know if you could tell how beautifully rolled it is, but it's a beautiful cigar if you are into cigars. Shout out Don Juan Cigar Bar. Which, by the way, real quick, do me a favor. Would you be interested? So T-Bob and I talked about doing a baseball whiskey and wine for tonight, which would have been last night and ultimately got canceled. Thank God we didn't because last night got canceled. But we're talking about doing one for next week in the Supers. Would you be open to it for the Saturday game? Which I think, so just do like a yes or no. Like, would you be interested in going to Don Juan or watching whiskey and wine next Saturday for the Supers? Just let me drop a wire and an yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down, just something like that in the chat, and let me know your thoughts on it, because we'd love to do something like that. I mean, we love doing whiskey and wine. We love going to Don Juan. We just want to make sure that there would be value there for Don Juan if we did it. Okay, y'all are all saying yes, I would assume. Okay, cool. Boy, there was something else I wanted to get to. I thought that someone had a comment I wanted to get to. I love that. Big Doug 44, Fat Beloso came out and said, I'm willing to be a cheerleader in the dugout if that's my role. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Beloso, shout out to Dugas, shout out to Travinsky, shout out to Joe Bear, shout out to all these guys who didn't see a path to the field in spring or in fall, stayed, grinded, and when they got their opportunity, you couldn't take them off the field. I remember when Beloso started getting his ABs, a couple months into the season and was hitting 500. It's like you have to have him in the lineup. He works great at bats. He gets on base. He can hit for power. You saw it tonight, hit a homer. Awesome to see, man. And every LSU championship team, y'all, and you know this, every LSU championship team in the history of this program has had those guys, those dudes from Louisiana who would cut off their flipping arm to wear the purple and gold and play for LSU. And I respect him so much, man. That's Cade Beloso, that's Gavin Dugas, that's Braden Joe Bear. And I think sometimes, this is not to knock the high-profile guys because you need those super talented guys, but sometimes your roster can get a little diluted when you have so many guys who aren't from here, who don't know the culture and the history and the tradition behind LSU baseball and what it means to grow up loving that team and wearing and playing in that stadium for those fans and wearing that jersey and wearing that hat. So I love it. Oh, that was the other thing. This is what I was going to share with y'all. So got to see what happens tomorrow, but assuming LSU advances, which I think at this point we're probably all assuming they're going to advance, it is going to take a massive climb for Sam Houston or Oregon State to come back, win tonight, then beat LSU twice tomorrow. But so I was told this week that the feeling is that LSU, the Baton Rouge Super Regional would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think a lot of people are asking, or thinking like, so if you're not familiar, by the way, half of the Super Regionals are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Half of them are Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The NCAA waits until all of the regionals are finished to determine how it sets up. And I don't know that they would acknowledge this completely, but I think a big part of it is TV, right? That just makes the most sense. They're going to look at what matchups do they have, where can they put in prime time, like across all, what's going to be on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, SEC Network, all this stuff. So obviously with LSU, being that it's LSU, they feature LSU when they can, which is a great thing for us as fans because, like today, LSU was on ESPN2. I mean, until the rains came, but so sorry, y'all. So what I was told earlier this week was that LSU, the Baton Rouge Regional, was likely going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, I want to be abundantly clear about this so there are no misgivings. Look at Miami up by 3 with 9 to play. Someone asked me earlier. I gave them Miami plus the 8. Wouldn't be surprised if they won the game. But anyway, so I was told earlier this week that Baton Rouge was likely going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the Supers. That, of course, could change. I want to be very clear about that. That could absolutely change. I'm not breaking news or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I was told earlier this week. And I think what I've seen some of today is a lot of people have said, well, LSU's playing on Monday. The Baton Rouge Regional's playing Monday. So they wouldn't make LSU or the Baton Rouge Super turn around and play on Friday. They would make them go Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I want to remind you of this. In 2014, LSU was in the driver's seat. They won the marble game against Houston in the Baton Rouge Regional. And then Houston came back and beat LSU twice. Remember, they beat them Sunday and then came back and won again on Monday. That was the game where infamously Alden Cartwright guaranteed the win and didn't make it out of the first inning. All right. I wonder if he's watching. So anyway, Houston, after playing 2 games on Sunday, then playing again on Monday, they were paired with the Austin Super, so they paired with Texas. They ended up playing that Super Regional starting on Friday. So Houston played twice on Sunday, played on Monday, then had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, and played Friday in Austin. So really just had Tuesday off, Wednesday to get ready, or travel. Thursday they probably practiced at Texas, then played Friday. So they had 3 days off before their Friday game. So my point is, there is precedent for the NCAA to say, I don't care if you played on Monday. If we want you to play Super Regional starting on Friday, they'll do it. Barry Jocelyn, good question. He said, I'm not familiar with all the baseball terminology. What's with the marble game? So I don't know the genesis of that, but they call it the marble game because they call the winner's bracket game in the 4-team regional, the marble game, because maybe like it's for all the marbles. I'm guessing. I really don't know the genesis of that, but that's just what they call the winner's bracket game in the regional. So if the 2 first-round winners that play, it puts you in the driver's seat because now someone has to go win an elimination game and come back and beat you twice. So they call the winner's bracket game the marble game of the regional. Thank you, Cortland. Good looking out. 9:35 first pitch for Oregon State and Sam Houston. So they're going to play probably past midnight tonight, and then have to turn around and play LSU tomorrow, which, God, I hope it's a noon first pitch. I hope it's a noon first pitch so that game's over by the time we start AFR. Randall Offreck said, Matt, who would you rather play tomorrow? For me, I think I'd rather play Sam Houston. Their offense is really good, but boy, their pitching is atrocious. And that's not to say that Oregon State has a bunch of dudes. I know we've gone over that a bunch. Oregon State really had 2 starters available. And by the end of the season, and one of them, wasn't available this weekend, and then a number 3 guy had already been injured. So Oregon State's really thin, but so is Sam Houston. By the time you get to that point of the regional, Sam Houston haven't played. You finished that game earlier today. They're going to play again tonight. Then have to play again tomorrow. It's really hard to imagine them having anything left. And look, LSU played Sam Houston in Round Rock and beat them. It was 16-4, wasn't it? Y'all remember that game? It was the 3rd game of Round Rock. So it was a similar spot, right, in the weekend where you're at the end of your bullpen. The weird thing is I think Chase Shores actually started that game for LSU in Round Rock when they beat Sam Houston. But, that was the second weekend of the season. LSU beat Kansas State, lost to Iowa, and then came back and beat Sam Houston. 16-4. 16-4 was the score of that one. And look, LSU treated that one kind of like a midweek. They threw Shores, Collins, Edwards, Herring, Money. They used 5 pitchers. So, you could see something. Obviously Shores and Edwards aren't available, but, you could see something similar where you go Javen Coleman, Bryce Collins, Griffin Herring, Ackenhausen, of course, Money. You got arms available. So, all right. Y'all do me a favor. 751 still watching. Awesome. I'm humbled by it. Please smash that like button. I'm not going to go too much longer because I do have to get Drew bathed and ready for bed. It's after 9 already. But please smash the like button if you haven't done so yet. And if you're new, please subscribe up to the channel. It's a big help. We go live every morning, usually weekday mornings around 7:30 a.m. for about 20 minutes on Morning Scone. And then we usually fire up things like this, post-game shows. Used to do companion shows when we could. We can't anymore. But the thing that I always ask is y'all help out great sponsors, or, in this instance, Hudco is a company I'm partnered with. All my great Ryan Theriot, and who, by the way, as a random aside, I want y'all to know this. Ryan Theriot, a lot of people don't know this about Theriot. When Theriot was still playing ball, he did buy and flip houses. Ryan Theriot has his GC license. He is a general contractor. He has his license, and he's actually certified by CertainTeed, a shingle manufacturer, as a master shingle applicator. Theriot is actually a guy in all of this. So I'm just the marketing guy. My job is make the phone ring. You don't want me on your roof, but we had a great team assembled. We touch every corner of this state, so no matter where you are. I know we had hail in St. Gabriel, Central, New Orleans. There was a report of hail off of Pico in Baton Rouge. Lafayette had hail earlier today. Would love to give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Just click the link pinned in the chat. Fill out the form on the homepage. It'll take you 30 seconds. And we'll call you, get in touch, and have someone come give you that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. So, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Central Mississippi Whitetail, I love you too, bro. Thank you. Let's see, Brock Blanchard, could see Coleman. So I think Coleman starts tomorrow. I think Javen Coleman starts tomorrow. 10 more minutes, 9 minutes, 9 more minutes. So Erica last night got very sick. She got a stomach bug, and she woke me up. She was literally up at 3:30 in the morning, praying to the porcelain gods. Not a drunk thing. She got a stomach bug and was very sick last night. So she stayed in bed most of the day. So I need to get inside. And kind of help her pick up the house and get Drew ready for bed and everything. So let's do 10 more minutes, and we'll roll. Scott Pittman, what's going on? I love it. All right, let's get it. LSU Daily, best intro of any podcast. LSU Daily will resume it tomorrow. So obviously been off for a little more than a week. So that's been put on hold while I was out, but looking forward to getting back to it. Looking back, McGuire, I'll be watching this game drinking a Bud Light. Cheers to you. For anybody who missed it earlier and missed the very brief 60-second Bud Light synopsis earlier, scroll back and watch it. But shout out to my guys at Mako Beverage. Dave Inder asked, is she feeling better? She's up and moving a little, Dave. She drank a little Gatorade and ate a piece of bread. But like, I mean, you ever had that stomach bug where you're puking? Like it's. I mean, she had a rough night. She had a rough night and a rough day. PTG Toasty Yard is looking great. Thanks, man. Yeah, dude, we love it. This is our oasis back here, man. We just, with Drew loves the pool. He's in the pool nearly every day. And with, with him where it's hard to go places, we just decided, hey, let's make this our like beautiful outdoor space. So, got a beautiful outdoor kitchen. We got a pool, and blessed. We spent a lot of time out here, as you'd imagine. It's great. So thank you. Zachary Knopf said for whoever wins tonight to push to Game 7. Listen, I'm never going to say there's no chance. I'm not going to speak in absolutes. I would have never thought in 2014 that Houston would have come out of the losers bracket and beat LSU twice, but they did. But I will say that in particular, this one is even more complicated for the losers bracket team because of the rain. Normally when it sets up, you would have played Friday, you'd have played a game on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and then 1 on Monday. Well, now the way it's played out that you have to play 2 on Sunday, 1 probably past midnight, and then come back and potentially play 2 on Monday. I don't know how you play a back-to-back doubleheader. That's like that into a Monday. So, normally when you'd have the if necessary Game 7 on Monday, it's a 1-game standalone. You'd have to win another doubleheader. It's just, I don't know. Boy, it's long odds. It's why this game, it's why where we started earlier was so important for Jay to make the decision to go to Thatcher Hurd. When the rains came, you had to say, listen, we are all in to win this game. Because you knew if you didn't win this one, this is why it's so important. If you didn't win this one, you're not coming out of the losers bracket. Because think about it. If LSU had lost this game, just like paint this picture. If LSU had lost this game, Skeens is burned, Floyd is burned, Hurd is burned, and then you got to come back and play tonight, likely with Coleman, and then you got to come back and then whoever's behind him, and then you'd have to come back tomorrow and win twice, probably with Blake Money, Sam Dutton, Riley Cooper, Griffin Herring, Will Helmers. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to win 2 games with the bottom of your staff. So that's the lot that those teams are facing right now. And LSU gets to sit back, relax tonight, get a good night's sleep in their own beds, wake up tomorrow, and you're going to treat it like a Sunday with Javen Coleman on the bump. And the only pitchers that aren't going to be available are Skeens, Floyd, and Hurd. So everybody else is available. All right. Let's see. Do you know if Tennessee will be the host next week? I don't know that, but if I'm not mistaken, y'all, and I think someone maybe tried to correct me on this earlier, I thought that the Clemson Regional was paired with Auburn, and I think someone told me that was wrong. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so the Clemson Regional is paired with the Auburn Regional. Auburn's already eliminated. So did Penn advance? I know Penn was 2. Did Penn advance? So, basically this is going to be Clemson against Penn. So Clemson as Tennessee. Tennessee against Penn. So Tennessee is a 2, Penn was a 4. Tennessee would host the Super. It's like what happened when in 2019 LSU won the Baton Rouge Regional, and then Florida State went to Athens and upset Georgia. Well, LSU hosted Florida State because they were the higher seed. Let's see. All right, a couple more, y'all. Yeah, so Tennessee against Southern Miss or Penn. Wait, no, Penn didn't beat Vandy. Penn beat Auburn. So the Auburn regional was Auburn, Southern Miss, Samford, and Penn. Vandy lost to Xavier, not Penn. And the Vandy regional is paired with Oklahoma State, who also lost. So a lot of carnage out there in regional land this weekend. So, okay, y'all. How about Arkansas losing tonight as well, giving up a 20 spot to TCU? Oof. All right. Yeah, but no Vandy Whistler in Omaha. That's fantastic news. Okay, Michael McNett, good night. Cajun Country, Reed Rule, what's going on? Hoosiers coming to the box next weekend. I like our odds. That's an interesting... I'll say it this way. Kentucky, I liked LSU's matchup against Kentucky because Kentucky had no pitching. Now, first of all, let's make sure LSU wins their regional first. Kentucky had no pitching, and so I'm not surprised at all that they lost that regional. And I told you the Big 12 was atrocious this year, so I'm not really surprised about West Virginia either. Indiana would have been a good pick. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be some fresh blood coming down here, and provided LSU wins, got to take care of business tomorrow. But, yeah, I mean, I'm always going to like the draw, especially with Paul Skeens pitching, because Skeens will win his start. You expect Skeens to win his start, and then you just have to split. You know, you got to split the other two, and I like LSU to be able to do that. So, okay, y'all. Small ball fans upset about Kentucky. Dustin Abear, Matt Pellegrin. Oh, Thomas Lamont. Okay, they haven't lost yet. Okay, Kentucky, so they got a Game 7 tomorrow. Okay, cool. Kentucky, Indiana, Game 7 tomorrow. Okay. All right, y'all. I think we're just about done. 9:30. I'm a scoot. Thank you so much to everybody watching. Just freaking awesome, man. When I look up and I see almost 800 people at our max concurrent earlier today. Y'all are awesome. I'm humbled by it, by everybody watching. So thank you so much. Go Tigers. What a night. I mean, we didn't expect for the regional to play out this way. Thought we'd be talking about a marble game last night, doing a long Saturday night whiskey and wine. But this is the way it played out. And fingers crossed that tomorrow LSU plays at noon. I would love it if they play tomorrow at noon, so that game will be over by the time AFR starts. But I'm excited to be back on AFR tomorrow. Appreciate Moose for filling in while I was out. And Thomas Lamont said, are we doing this again tomorrow? Well, Thomas, tomorrow I'll probably be on air. So when the game ends. So now hopefully there's no Game 7. But if there is a Game 7 tomorrow night, yes, I'll do a post-game show tomorrow night if and when Game 7 ends. So, okay, God bless y'all. Happy Sunday. Y'all be safe. Have a great night. And go Tigers. Let's get this thing done tomorrow and punch the ticket to the Supers and watch this team continue to roll through to Omaha. So thanks for watching. Smash the like button. Yes, morning's going tomorrow, of course. Smash the like button. Subscribe up to the channel if you haven't. And give us a shout at HUDCO. We appreciate you. Y'all have a great night. Peace.